All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you folks laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. It's wetting, all that.
All right. Welcome to the 174th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Bob Lilly episode because I had to find someone and he fit the bill. He's known as Mr. Cowboy. He's actually a football Hall of Famer. He was born in Texas, played football at Texas Christian University, and excelled for the Cowboys. And that's what we like to, promote, staying local, staying true, staying home. Yeah. You can get that Super Bowl, what I mean? You can get something like best podcast in the city or something like, some like people that. We know. Yeah, I mean, so stay true to your local, man. Feed your hometown, they'll feed you back. And
plus our guest today likes to brew with flowers as well. So,
okay.
I mean,
all right.
Okay,
you pulled that. See, Dave never really contributes to the athlete. He just lets it happen, and then when he got something, he gonna pull some special shit out of his pocket out of nowhere and enhance me. That's what teamwork is. I'm half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play.
We're Googleable.
Under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 174 episodes we've been asking y'all, man. We're going to continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. In fact, hop on Facebook and rate and review. You can rate the review us on Facebook. Apparently, we're a business. On that bin and whatever you mean. So
I have to find those now.
Give a little 5-star
Extra
or whatever.
Work.
You know what I mean? But that's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well, and that's how we continue to do well. So please hop on iTunes and Facebook, and rate and review.
Hey, you love us. You see us in public. You tell us you love us. Now, at the click of a button, please tell the internet. And as always, 174 times in, we're gonna keep it going. In lieu of rates and reviews, we always accept shots of Hennessy. Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conway for setting the trend.
Yeah, it's always good shit. With them.
Yes. And you show us love, we'll show love back. So if you do leave a review, we may read it on the podcast, much like this, titled "Great Podcast" with an exclamation point by Adam D.
Okay.
No, that Adam D as one word.
Adam D.
Yeah, it's Adam. The D is capitalized, so it's not Adam'd. It's I don't know. I don't understand this guy. I don't know.
Adam'd? Like
I don't know.
Past tense, he got Adam twice.
Nah, because the D is capital. Pause. I don't feel comfortable saying that twice.
It's Big D.
It's chill. I had a friend named Big D, and it was so difficult to address this man in public. Like he spent the night with them, like, yo, Big D, you up? Like it's weird. All right.
Yeah, the kid's Lil D.
His little cousin was Lil D. I grew up with a dude named Lil D. Like it's in this whole pausable nation now. Like you can't. Man. All right. So Adam D. Wrote local Pittsburgh beer plus funny/real content equals great podcast. We agree, right? Like it's a formula to all this shit.
We agree.
Yeah,
we agree that we're a good podcast. Yes.
I think that's a good formula. That's what I was agreeing to. We're gonna talk to our guests about formulas because we got an evil genius in the building.
Yeah, you got mastermind. I mean,
so shout out to Adam D. Thank you. Introduce yourself and explain why.
Yeah, tell us. Tell us about the Big D, but keep it.
Whoa.
Keep it kosher. Yeah,
whoa, don't come to one of our shows talking about that. Speaking of our shows, we got July 21st.
Y'all was talking about my Big D on the podcast.
Come on, man.
Maybe in the middle of a show, like what?
Well, I guess we'll just have to do some crowd work at that point. And we love to do crowd work at Arcade Comedy Theater.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it again on July 21st with the headliner Razor Wadney.
Yeah, excited about that. You know what I mean? With that, it's BYOB and free beer as always. So come out and check that out. And then if you're looking for tickets, that's arcadecomedytheater.com.
Yeah, and then the next weekend, we're starting something new. We're trying something different. We're going to be back at Contra Theater, but instead of just on the final Saturday of the month, we will do a Friday, Saturday double up. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nip Hustle. You know what I mean? We got Chris Allen coming in, headlining.
Yeah, coming out of D.C., man. DC. Excited about that, man. He crushes. Every time I've seen him, man, he's crushed. Super excited. He's very well-traveled. It's a steal to get him up here in Comtra celebrating
Very well traveled.
celebrating our second year at Comtra, the second year anniversary, man. We doubling it up Friday and Saturday, and you're looking for tickets, it'll be at comtratheater.ticketleap.com, and that's BYOB, and free beer provided by Mindful Brewing as always, man. The homies.
And finally, we got to shout it out. We got Fresh Fest, August 11th.
2018, man. August 11th, man. Looking forward to that. It's the first Black Beer Festival in Pittsburgh. White people are encouraged to attend as well.
We kind of banking on it.
Yeah. we need them tails. Come through. We got over 10 black brewers from around the country coming in. We also have 20 local brewers pairing with local artists, black artists and entrepreneurs on unique collaborations for the fest, man. It's all about inclusivity, not what do you call the other one? Seclusivity, seclusion.
I don't know. We call it exile because we read Shakespeare, so we call it exile.
It's true.
Exclusion, exile. I don't know.
But how
you gonna start it and not know the words you're gonna use? Then you gonna throw the alley oop, and then I can't catch it.
I'm halfway through this Bane already, man.
Oh man,
it's a good cast.
It's the Bane of this cast.
Yeah,
it's going nowhere fast.
But come through, man. August 11th. If you're looking for tickets, that's at freshfestbeerfest.com, man. It's gonna be history, man. Dope.
Yeah, nah, man. Speaking of history, we got to see we have history with our guests today. I mean, they were one of our first live casts very early. The cast don't even show up on my iTunes feed anymore. And we haven't been able to. I guess we haven't sat down with you guys since the glow up, since y'all moved. You know what I mean? We obviously attended, but we haven't had them on the cast since.
I'm trying to think. Have we had these since the glow up? I think we were just about to open up last year.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of demo.
Yeah. A lot of shit has happened, man. Motherfuckers that got married, you know what I'm saying? Just crazy. So we got Gary Olden and Andy Kwiatkowski from Hitchhiker. Say what up to the people.
What up?
What up?
Okay, y'all, they so in unison now.
Yeah. You see the synergy, you know what I mean? They got that nice little back and forth.
That's an extra comma in the paycheck. That's when that synergy come. You really work with a person.
174 episodes, 174 barrels. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, like this.
Have you gone through 174 barrels?
Oh, way over that.
You probably do that a week these days.
Yeah. So in 2018, 174 barrels.
We do that a month now.
Glow up.
Long way from that basement. You know what I mean?
Very, very long way.
I kind of like the basement, man. It gave you that, you know what I mean, that grinding feel.
They still got the basement. Yeah, I mean, they should have
done the cast in the basement.
You can go down there and see it. You know what I mean? Like the humble beginnings.
It's pretty sad though. Now it's just an empty. There's literally nothing in
there.
it. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
So my PA system could probably sit there for a little while longer this time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Y'all selling it off as a storage unit?
The first podcast we did, I got so shit faced. I left the whole PA system there. I got a call the next. It was like, so you left your PA system, and we ain't got a whole lot of room here. So
come get your shit. That's a very corporate way to say come get your shit. That's how y'all been able to grow. You know how to speak to people. You get the phone call, and the phone call's probably 8:17 on a Sunday. Hey, come get your shit. But in a very polite tone.
There will be yeast on that bitch. We need every inch available in this motherfucker. But yeah, now you guys are down at the old Fort Pitt.
Yep, in Sharpsburg.
Yeah. So tell us, tell us how the last year has gone for y'all, man. Because like I said, last time we saw you, you were just in the beginning phases or whatever. I mean, you hadn't fully even moved in and opened up and whatnot. And now you got fanboys lining up around the corner for cans. So
I don't know about that, but
how's the last year?
Word on the street.
True.
But yeah, we started construction at the end of February, and then pretty much piled through. Started brewing in June. Taproom opened in September. Started canning in November. Started larger distribution right around June, and now it's really kind of taken off. And now you can go and get cans at your local bottle shop or grocery store, wherever you may be. You don't have to necessarily wait in line or hang out on a Saturday for a release. You can find the beer pretty accessible around the city, no matter what part you might be in. So,
maybe in the city. I live in Beaver, and I'm still waiting for folks to ship out to Beaver. Shout out to JR's and Steel City. They do a little distribution or whatever. But I can't get the locals out there. I'm every once in a while I'll get a crowler or something. You know what I mean? They might get a keg. But I be looking for the cans. It's just they don't show no
that
love
means,
up north,
bro.
man.
You gotta move.
I know I gotta move.
You gotta
man.
move because
you're seeing all these delicious like releases or whatever. I just saw y'all had like a strawberry gose or something pop off. Like
Yeah, we got that here.
yeah, I gotta. We'll see now. That's why I got a podcast, I guess, because I can't get into the city. I'm not as like you know what I mean. So to get to the brewery, so like I mean, how do you guys distribute outside of the city? Like what's that gonna take? Like
it's just all self-distribution. I mean, we definitely are in other counties.
Yeah.
I think we're probably in some accounts in Beaver County. Maybe.
Limited Beaver, but we got a
little game of Beaver.
some out in Indiana and then some out in Westmoreland.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Lucky motherfuckers.
So how has life changed with the move to the Sharpsburg spot? You're not canning, larger distribution. Like what sort of pressures have come on you? How's your day changed? A day in Andy and Gary, how's that changed?
I mean, honestly, a lot of the same challenges that we had before are still challenges, keeping up with production, keeping people happy with regards to what we're brewing, that kind of stuff still is a regular occurrence.
How do you keep people happy with what you're brewing? I was just having this conversation like with Teresa with the Smithsonian. Shout out to
yes, okay.
Smithsonian or whatever. And she was saying like, how do, folks have, I guess, a gauge on what people like. You know what I mean? Granted, there's sales. You know what I mean?
And there are
like,
trends.
There's trends and whatnot. But like, when you're brewing, you're about to brew something or whatever, you're coming up with these ideas like, especially at the level of where you're brewing, like you're not just brewing a small batch and then releasing it, like you're brewing a whole ass, like, you know what I mean? So if they don't like it, that's a lot of beer to not like. So how do you like take those risks?
So one of the things that we've been known for is having a diverse lineup of beer, and I think our customers appreciate that. So we always sit down and figure out what we're brewing based on having a diverse portfolio and an offering. With that being said, we also are coming out with new things to introduce people to either new styles or new, deviations of what we've done before.
Well, that's the thing that like I look forward to like with Hitchhiker is that like, I know like even when we first like met you guys, out in Mount Lebo or whatever, like the beers that you had on tap were different from like beers everywhere else. Like you had like I think like you had your ales or whatever, but like a saison. I think it was the first time I had a saison at that your place or whatever. Like you guys are brewing with flowers. There's a bunch of different things. Like whenever you're like whenever those cans drop. Like it's a whole description like you need, and then like granted you can get your lagers, people were getting the pilsners and your your stouts and whatever, like, but like I said, you look at a can and it's like you had a coconut coffee like stout or porter or something like that.
Is that the Cocotino?
Yeah, we got that here.
Cocotino, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So like I do appreciate the fact that you guys do kind of push the. I guess not push the envelope, but like, introduce, at least in this area, like to a newer style of things.
Yeah, it's just always, number one, we always try to have our foot on the gas and never let up. Every beer is an evaluation of what we've done before and how we can, if it's something we made before, how we can improve upon that or like translate that over to something else that we're making. But we always try to keep an eye out for, things that we're interested in that might be things that don't even exist, that could be emerging trends or just emerging trends in other beer markets. Like we have a Brute IPA that's coming out that a lot of people are like saying is like the next new thing. It's gonna Brute.
What is a Brute IPA?
It's just like a super dry IPA. So like, a New England IPA is like this, relatively sweet speaking IPA style. A Brute IPA is the exact opposite. It's super dry. Clear. It's brewed with like Pilsner malt and flake corn, which is not something you really ever see in IPAs at all. And it has like a really, really low kettle addition, so it's not bitter at all. And it just has a massive dry hop addition. It's meant to be like hoppy champagne.
Hoppy champagne. So it's literally meant to be poured on women in garages.
That's where the music. I was about to say,
or in the Golden State Warrior locker room. Like
music video beer. The Brute.
That's
IPA.
the pool. That's a pool party beer. Because when you were saying it was the opposite of the hazy, I was like, well, that's what IPAs have been thus far. But then you said it has a low bitterness. So like that's
it's really strange. So like normally like when you make a beer, it ferments to a certain point and it doesn't go beyond that. That's just what yeast is capable of because there's complicated sugars and starches, and yeast has no access to change any of that over. We add an enzyme that breaks down those starches or those complicated sugars into simple sugars that the yeast has access to, so it can ferment all the way through. So even though it might be like a standard IPA and it ferments to the same point a regular IPA would ferment to, you add this enzyme, and that enzyme makes those starches, those complicated sugars, more accessible, so it ferments all the way through. It's actually has less sugar density than water, like tap water.
Wait,
so it's just a super dry.
Wait, it has less sugar than water?
Yeah.
I don't know what.
So you measure the.
So is it? I mean, like, but what's the gravity on that? Because I mean, from my understanding, the more sugar, the higher the gravity. Like, typically is what happens in the process, and that's why, like, when you get into the barley wines or whatever, it's like super sweet because it's like super high ABV. So is it going to be like a super low ABV?
No, it's going to be a super high ABV because it attenuates far. So like the starting gravity, the starting point at which you like measure to figure out what your alcohol content is like akin to like what a session beer would be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it'd be like finishing around like 5%, but because this enzyme's in there and it converts all that complicated sugar over, it ferments down. It's actually like 7.3%.
Oh, so it takes so what you're saying is that sugar that's usually left over in a natural process that gives you whatever that your ABV, it's going to ferment even past that,
right?
And then that'll give you ABV plus take out the sugar.
Exactly.
Wow, that's fucking science.
So at what point? At what point in your life did enzyme not be a negative? Like that sound when I hear enzyme, I'm like, I'm not drinking this. But you're speaking about this like this is a positive thing.
Oh, it's
enzymes
super
are terrible
positive
to the average person.
Enzymes in brewing are like essential. So enzymes are what's responsible for converting starch to sugar. So when you're brewing a beer and you're making the mash, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create an environment and that's really conducive to these enzymes converting starch over to sugar. And there's like certain temperature ranges, certain pH ranges that you need to work with. Certain grains are going to have more of an enzyme activity, where if you have like a dark malt, because that's been roasted for so long, that kills all the enzymes. So it doesn't have any what's called diastatic power. It doesn't have the ability to transfer over that starch to sugar because it's just
I'm not.
It sounds like some Power Ranger shit.
Like he lost me on diastatic. I was like all the words I was there for, and then he said, "I was like, yeah, we're."
Diastatic is one of those words where he's talking about it, he's explaining diastatic, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to pronounce diastatic. So I've already missed the entire explanation of what it is because I'm trying to drill down on how to say it.
Show them the diagram.
That's one of those words as you're saying it, you fucking somebody up.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like, yo, is he real or is he not? Because he don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But if he keeps shaking his head, then the motherfucker ain't listening. Like,
right. Well, I was giving, and then we ain't got the video going today, but I was giving them I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I'm listening. Look, I was looking right directly at his eyebrow, not his eyes. If you looked in my eyes, he would have known that I was lost. I'm looking right at his eyebrow.
I was pouring a beer, but I was hoping you were giving because I was gonna come back to it. Like, let's rewind.
But this does bring up an interesting point. So like we talk to brewers all the time, and we talk about like how do you come up with your recipes and stuff. But this is a whole different level of things that you have to figure out. Like I've never heard a brewer talk about what's diastatic, and we haven't really gotten the explanation of how enzymes will kind of impact the fermentation as far as when we're putting together a recipe.
I don't know. We probably have. I don't know. We've done 174 episodes with a lot of people.
All of them haven't been. The
problem is we be drinking.
Well, this is episode 1 of 1.
Yeah.
And then I know that I'm lost because he said diastatic.
Yeah. We usually save brewers for the second episode, so that means we forget more of the shit that we learn. So yeah, you guys are on the first one, so we're actually going to remember diastatic. Like,
well, until we record.
That. Yeah.
I mean, we record a second episode, and I'm
gonna use that in the next episode. Like,
no, yeah, but I mean, seriously, when you're doing a recipe, like, how much is it? Okay, I'm coming. This flavor is, the flavor I'm shooting for, but then there's the entire science behind it. Where if you're coming up with all these diverse flavors, you guys got. I mean, we got the cococino, coconut, coffee, milk sugar, cocoa nibs, and vanilla beans. Like, that sounds great to me. I don't know how it all works behind the scenes, though.
It's always like the process is kind of starting from what you want the finished product to be. To think about the beer that you're trying to taste and what you're trying to do, that gives you something to aim for. So then you kind of build everything based upon what you want that overall character of the beer to be. So like a beer like Cocacino, obviously we want coffee, we want coconut, we want these flavors to come out. So it starts at, making the grist, the grain bill. So you look at the grain bill and say, what grains can I add that are going to provide these flavors or, like accentuate that. So like, we're adding cocoa nibs, we're trying to get chocolate out of it. So in that beer we have chocolate malt. That gives you a kind of a chocolate characteristic. But if you have too much chocolate malt, then that tends to be like, acrid and astringent and just not a character that you want. So you have to add a certain percentage to give that. And then your water chemistry comes into play. Certain water mineral content is going to provide a base Where are
you getting your water from? That's a good. I'm glad you brought that up because like you're in a city and like, you're dealing with so like do you have like filtration systems or something like that for the water or like,
we have a giant carbon filter. So where we are, we're really fortunate. We have really what's called soft water, and that gives you like a good base to kind of build off of because there's not a lot of stuff in it to begin with.
Yeah.
So you can kind of add what you need on top of that. Where if it was hard water, it's more difficult to kind of take out a lot of that mineral content and replicate it because you kind of already have a starting point that you can't really deviate from unless you start doing crazy things. Exactly.
I got hard water. Shout out to Beaver. So, again, get your beer and your water right, Beaver. I'm over here paying these taxes.
Wait. We get love out in Beaver, though. They put us in the county times and all that. So
we do get love at Beaver. Shout out to Beaver.
They don't show you love back.
They don't show me love on the liquids, man. My water is hard. My beer is hard to get. You just step your game up. But yeah, those are things that you don't, when you think about like open up a brewery, you're not thinking of like the water filtration system or whatever. Like,
you should. That's definitely.
See, we're not thinking about it.
We're not thinking because we're not brewers. And Gary, like you coming into this, like, were those things that you were like, I can't wait to get my first water filtration system. That's when I know I made it. Like
he already had one set up before I came on the line. He already had it all ready to go.
I love water filtration.
Yeah.
You got a Brita? You got one of them big Britas on the sink?
I got 7 Britas at
home.
Soft water, hard nipples. Like, so I love water filtration. Okay.
Yeah. That one's so beyond plausible. I can't even fathom.
You guys were we were talking about before the podcast or whatever. You're telling us you guys got like this huge ass cooler that came in like this big ass freight, like off the boat freight, like looking ass, like it was an 18-wheeler. Like what the fuck is that?
Just a big overseas container that's refrigerated for more cold storage. So that came in last week. Making some upgrades at the brewery. So we've got some new tanks coming on.
I saw the shiny new tanks, man. Them was one of the things that like brewers love. They get the new, like, is the
tank like the crown molding in your house where like I got some shit now I'm like go upgrade. I'm gonna get more fly with my shit. Like I'm sure there's some functionality behind it, but it mostly just looks fly.
Yeah, it makes life easier. I don't know.
I think it's mostly function, but is there like garnishments and shit? Because I saw one. I think Fury got like a tank, and it had like dimples in it and shit. Like, and I'm like, how much of the aesthetics, like, do those dimples do anything, or is that just like so when you get the tanks, are you looking at like the aesthetic value of it as well as what it can hold and do?
It's all functionality. Yeah. It's just how if you want to get really complicated about things, it's like even the geometry and the shape of the tank. So like, it's a conical fermenter, so there's like a certain degree and angle of the cone. Mm-hmm. There are certain tanks that are meant for certain beers that can really? If you have a lager, you have basically a big, tall, narrow tank, and that helps with filtration, with yeast settling out, that sort of thing. Where like these conicals, like there's certain ones that'll be maybe more appropriate for IPAs versus like lagers and that sort of thing. So it's more function and geometry. That's the things that you don't pay attention to. But as long as it's quality made. That's what you want to,
Yeah.
you're putting an immense amount of liquid in there. It's going to be under an immense amount of pressure. You want something that's going to not blow up and cause harm to like any workers or anyone that's around the area.
'Cause you're not worried about the bling at all though. Like you ain't, you know what I mean? There's no, like,
I don't believe that.
That's what,
for me, you saw the old fermenters. I mean, this is as blingy as it gets. I mean, like when we just got the new one in and it says 2018, that's like the 2000, we got a 2018 Rari back there.
That's what I was about to say. Like, because it has, that's what I'm saying, it has 2018 on it. So clearly, like, you want them to know, like, I got the,
the Rari. Yeah. It's not the Yoda. It ain't the 2018 Yoda. it ain't the 2018 Honda. It's the 2018 Rari.
the Daewoo. It ain't rocking with a Daewoo.
Yeah, that's what we used to have. We used to have Daewoos in Mount Lebanon.
And y'all
now
was
we got
able to
Raris.
come up off of the Daewoo. Like, that's a lesson to everybody. Stay down. Stay true. You might be in a Oopty today, but you're in a Rari tomorrow. So what are the things in the brewery, that are like the plush items that you have? Just the plush things to make you feel like, all right, we doing it. You know what I mean? So there's the functionality, obviously. You get the better tanks, you get the Rari, whatever. But what are just the things personal to you that's just like, all right, just to show we came up?
I mean, everything that we have now, because that was always what I wanted to, work on. I think that's, for you, that's always something that you wanted to have as well. It was just kind of out of means and necessity is how we first started. So now it was kind of like to go back through and kind of pick out all the nice toys. And that's what we have now.
So nothing
The
over
toys.
the top, nothing that you was just like, all right, we just gonna go a little extra hard.
Well, like the keg washer, we kind of went crazy with.
Keg washer.
Yeah. I mean, we used to wash them by hand. It would take like 20, 25 kegs. It would be like a 9-hour day for someone to wash kegs back at the old spot. Then we got a relatively cheap but functional keg washer that really didn't work at all. Gary had to drive back to Virginia and drop it off in some lawn. So when we looked to get another one,
like an old dog,
pretty much.
Your time is done. Go be free.
Yeah, it was not the best keg washer, and now we have it's basically 2 buttons. You press them, you walk away, and the kegs are washed.
Can I wash my car with that keg washer?
Take the paint off that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, would it?
Yeah, it would probably fuck it up pretty good. I like my paint job. Yeah.
Man. I don't want the paint off.
I don't even like going through car washers anymore, and I imagine that's what a keg washer is kind of like, because it just feels like when they hit the side, when they hit my door, it just sounds too hard.
I can't. Yeah, no, I always feel it. And there are some car washers I've gotten out of there, and you'll see like the streaks on the top or whatever, where it's a little too rough. You know what I mean? And it's getting in that top varnish or whatever. But at the same time, like, I just don't have the time to like hand wash my car as often as it needs to be, man. Like, when I was younger, man, I had all the time in the world. I'd spend the whole Saturday morning out there.
That's a young man and an old man's activity. Like, when you 50, you gonna be out there washing your car. Yeah. You be getting in the crux and the crease of them rims.
Making them the well and all that. You know what I mean? Like, when I was younger, like, just having a car, I wanted people to know. Like, look at me washing my shit. But now, like, I'm just making sure that I got to get that sold off that bitch, because if not, the rust will soon come. So, like, I mean, I got to drop 20 on it. So tell us about this Cocachino, man. Like, this is ridiculous. This was my favorite entry at the Beers of the Berg. Don't tell anybody I said that.
You just told the world, jackass.
Your secret's safe.
But yeah, I was a huge fan of this.
I love the aroma.
Yeah, how did this come to be?
So this is a beer we originally started in Mount Lebanon, and then just been slowly kind of trying to dial it in and get it to where we want it to be. So this is kind of the closest iteration, but just like anything we do, can always be better.
Like, how do you? Because you say you have a vision in your head, and then you make it, and then you put it out. Like, how close is this to the vision in your head?
Oh, it's really close. But I mean, if I'm like, oh, this is perfect, then I'm not doing.
Let's
doing
speak
what
in
I'm paid to be doing.
Heisenberg terms. Now, this is what 98%. Where we at with this? Most of America speaks Heisenberg, so let's
97.
97.
97. Yeah. So there's some room for growth. I mean, I feel that, because as a chef, like, I'll cook a dish and people be like, I love this shit, and you'd be like, a little bit more pepper, maybe, like, take it down like a half-hour cooking time. Yeah, I mean, like, because you did that. So, like, while it could be a great product for people drinking it, you as the brewer are like, maybe a little bit, So yeah. So you said, what are we, about 97% close to what you?
Yeah, I think it just needs like a little bit, a touch more body. Definitely has more body than the last batch. and a little bit more kind of coconut character. The coffee is like a very dominant aspect, and it's supposed to be very coffee forward, but the coffee kind of outshines everything to a certain extent. So just a little bit kind of more coconut. Really happy with the level of vanilla character that we have, the chocolate character that we have, but definitely a little bit more coconut would kind of help fill in that gap that needs for body. It would help that aspect, and then just kind of bump the aroma and flavor up to 11.
How often do you fuck with Andy Gary when he comes and brings you some shit and he like super proud of you, like 95?
Yeah. Dude, he's never happy.
93.
Yeah.
That's why Andy has shit beers, man. You ask Andy, he'll tell you he got shit beers, and that's because Gary is over here telling him he's got shit beers.
What book on leadership did you read? It was like you can't let your coworkers get complacent. You always got to shit on them.
The football coaching dad mentality to life. Like
nothing over 93.
Yeah, I'm always super stoked for something, and I'll give it to him and be like, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
That hurt. Anybody you
B
work
plus,
with,
A-.
anybody you work with closely, like if they're never as excited about your shit as you, and it always hurts.
Yeah.
No, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Cause
No, it's not. Well, I guess with y'all, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
At
if he
home,
was like, oh, this is amazing, this is the best beer ever, don't change a thing, I'm still going to change something. Like,
yeah.
you know, I might have to do that in secret.
Okay, so you're the woman in the relationship.
Yeah.
Buzzy is our Gary. No matter how good we get, the Buzzy's like, we could do a little better.
Buzzy's our woman.
Yeah. It was all right. We could do a little better.
Have you tried? The worst thing you can hear from you, have you ever thought about? You're like, shut up. I ain't thought about that shit. Of course I thought about it. This is my solution to that.
Oh man.
Bill.
So you guys are opening up a beer garden.
Yeah.
From what I heard, word on the street.
So yeah, give us some. What is a beer garden?
Because I've been to some beer gardens, but they ain't been like gardens. Like I did not see a liquor plant in these beer gardens.
I don't know that ours is going to be much different than that.
So yeah, you got to explain what a beer garden.
So
like.
I mean, we're gonna have an outdoor patio,
yeah,
with a couple trees, some tables, some place to chill out.
Just hang out.
Yeah.
You know, patio space and outdoor space is mad limited in Pittsburgh, man.
Right.
Like honestly,
because nobody's backyard is flat.
Yeah, I mean, we're so many hills. It's raining most of the time, or whatever. I mean, you really only get about like 90 days of patio type weather, and then like you could stretch it to maybe like 120 if you just endure like those overcast days and like I mean like a quick sprinkle or something like that. I mean, you really got to like be a trooper to be out there. But because of that, we don't have enough outdoor space, and that's what's tough is that like when you do get those days, Pittsburghers want to be outside, like they like, and I feel like most businesses aren't equipped for it, like, and it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things for us we've noticed with Mount Lebanon is the outdoor space. I mean, we have like
it's party foul.
The grandma cup. Like the mic was going to break before this glass.
Andy's grandmom's cup. Yeah. Anyway, so part of the plan from day one was to get some outdoor space over in Sharpsburg, and that's going to be happening hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We got some pretty cool stuff happening over there, and just one day at a time.
Yeah, no, with this product, I mean, with craft beer, I think the atmosphere is huge. I mean, it's not just enjoying great beer, but to be able to enjoy it in an atmosphere that, lends itself to conversation, enjoying it, being able to kind of take in the flavors. If I'm sitting outside, I always think of Forrest Gump, like the little bench he was on, because me and my homie in college, we had this little bench that we would deal with flowers on. And we would just sit under this tree on this bench.
He said, "Deal with what?"
Like, I don't know, man. Like the feds be listening. I don't know what's.
I know. We in the Smithsonian now, so
no telling what they go take for, But it's one thing that I remember all the time was from our friendship was sitting on that bench. You know what I mean? Being able to enjoy the outdoors, like that atmosphere. So with the beer, with the type of flavors y'all bringing, to have that outdoor. Like, even when we did our first podcast, we were just outside chilling. And I remember that more than actually being, except for y'all had Mr. and Mrs. Been Rawed before, right? That was,
Mr. and Mrs. Been Rawed was, yeah.
That was
the second episode. That was when Alex was on. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was going to invite them to join us today, but I didn't know if that'd be cool with you guys.
I saw them. I was hosting a bingo night randomly, and they were there. And they introduced themselves as Mr. and Mrs. Been Rawed before.
Yeah. He sent me a picture. He was like, yo, I'm out here with Mr. and Mrs. Been Rawed before. And I was sitting there, I was like, what? What? And then he took a picture of like...
yeah, it was like, I don't normally take selfies with people, but I had to.
They got a picture. Like, that was an amazing experience. That whole episode, like...
Yeah, I would imagine for them when she got raw, it was amazing.
I don't even think they have kids. That's what's crazy. They've been raw before, and they've made sure that they ain't have kids. That is a fucking miracle right there. A baby is not a miracle.
I think they did have kids, and that's why I knew she had been raw before. I'm pretty sure that's how that went.
Right.
This is so inappropriate on so many levels, but the only thing that makes it okay is the craft beer. The fact that we're drinking Cocachino, like they like, all right, there's no negative intent. They're not harmful.
Yeah, that's when a whole nother animal was born. That see, he got this case over here, man. We got stories, but yeah, that's when a different animal. It was back because there was a beginning iteration of it, and then this was the second.
Yeah, that'll have to come back around. Animal went away for a while, so we just came back recently in cans. So
yeah,
it's that time of year for it, I think.
I actually love the aesthetics of your can. I don't know, it's like a simplistic but effective. Because I've seen like the cans, how they're delivered with just the silver, and then I like these labels. Like
who's doing your labels?
Doing the labels?
Who's doing your labels? Who's doing your pictures?
Kind of grainy but
phenomenal.
Still clear. Like
I saw the Cocachino one or whatever, and it had like all the bits around it and a halo with the can on. Like, I mean, it like the imagery is phenomenal.
And branded well because it's consistent. Even though like they're different images, obviously, but if you look at the cans, you can tell
the cans are cool, and then like the cans in the promotional shots are dope as shit. Like there's always like a theme around it or whatever, and there's like ingredients and like all kind of it's cool. Who you're doing that shit? That's you, Gary?
So I'm doing most of the label stuff, and then Andy.
Oh, shit! Don't be quiet. Shout it to the high heavens.
Andy does a lot of the Instagram pictures.
Okay. So that again, teamwork. So you do so y'all team up on the rollout. I've been watching a lot. I've been listening to a lot of Joe Budden's podcasts. Is how they do albums. The rollout, like it's a great presentation for a great product. So
thank you.
Yeah. Let me taste. What is different animal? Different animal than that Cocachino.
That's a whole nother animal right there. You know what I mean?
Stop calling it shit that it's not.
It's
a different animal.
No, it's a whole nother animal. That's
a
what.
Whole new
if you go to Hitchhiker and you order a whole nother animal, they will give you this beer. I guarantee you.
That's probably 100% true.
Yes.
You can't. I mean, unless they got another one on the menu I don't know if there's another one with animal in the name.
It doesn't even matter what you order. The bartenders give you whatever they want.
That might be right. Yeah, because it's all delicious. So, like, I mean, now that you're in this space or whatever, what would you say, like, if you had, like, one, and I'll give it to both of you. I mean, you could both have individual answers given your positions, but, like, what would you say, like, the one thing that you don't have that you want moving forward? Like, what would make Hitchhiker, like whatever you feel the next level is, what's the next like thing that like you don't have, you need, you're working towards, whatever, to get to that? You know what I mean?
I'd probably say more wood, more fooders, more wood aged beer.
Okay. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, but you paused on the more wood, and you didn't say nothing after.
You guys are comedians, so you just pick that up, put it down. No, I would definitely say more wood. We're just starting to get into some bottles. some wood aged bottles within the next month or so. So, but I mean the time for a turnaround is so long. So for us to really get where we want to go, I think more wood is definitely something important for the near future.
I am seeing like the foeder is the thing. I mean, like, and what does the foeder do like with the flavor? Like, what is that characteristic that it offers?
I mean, in the beginning stages, the first few turns that we're going to have through those tanks, those foeders, it's going to provide some oak character. So they're all American oak, medium toast. So you're going to get a lot of oak kind of tannic characteristics, but like a lot of vanilla, that sort of characteristic. As more beer goes through it, that's going to be something that kind of dissipates. The point of having those is, basically when you brew beer, you introduce Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is brewer's yeast, and that does its thing, and that's it.
Why not just call it brewer's yeast, man? Why Saccharomyces?
There's a lot of yeast.
There's a lot of yeast. There's a lot of yeast. So like in those tanks, we have brewer's yeast, like we ferment them in stainless, we transfer them over there, and then we introduce other types of yeast that'll still that'll ferment further than brewer's yeast will. And then we also introduce bacteria like lactobacillus, which is something that we have in different animal. But on top of that, there's another bacteria called pediococcus.
The lactobacillus, is that the one that you can't like cross-contaminate with? Is that the sour?
No, I mean, you can cross-contaminate. Lacto is like extremely easy to kill.
It's the milk. Is that the milk?
The milk?
Is that the
Brettanomyces?
Is that wait?
Wait, y'all got one more 4-syllable word.
Yeah.
One more, and I'm walking off this.
Which one gives it that milky, the lactose, like the milky?
Oh, that's lactose sugar. Milk sugar, yeah.
Oh, milk sugar. So that doesn't do anything. So you just add milk sugar afterwards.
Yeah. That's unfermentable by anything, regardless of yeast or bacteria. Nothing can consume that sugar and convert it to ethanol or another byproduct. So when you introduce that, there's a set level of residual sweetness that will be left.
But the lactose bacillus has nothing to do.
Yeah, that's a bacteria that produces lactose.
Lactobacillus.
Yeah.
Lactobacillus. Okay, so there. All right. There's no.
So like yeast takes sugar and converts it into ethanol, and that's what gets you drunk. Lactobacillus takes sugar and produces lactic acid, and that's what makes it sour.
Gotcha.
I don't have it. I'm lost. I don't know what just happened.
I'm there. It took me a little while.
So let me with these feeders or whatever. So at some point, are you foeders? I'm sorry. Are you looking to have are we looking to have several different styles of tanks within one brewery, or like how does that? Because when we went to Trogue, they had
just brought in those foeders.
Yeah, they had just brought them in.
The Italians.
But like I've not been the one that where we've seen where they got a foeder and the stainless steel, like, because you said again with the tanks being better suited for certain styles. With you all having the diverse menu, are you going to have all these different style of tanks or is it hard?
They're meant to be base beers. So in one we have a golden sour, and that's going to be like a clean, complicated sour. It's not going to be like Animal. That's going to be a lot more multi-dimensional than Animal, where Animal is kind of one note. You get like that lactic acid character. This is going to have lactic acid. It's going to have a touch of acetic acid. These other characters that kind of make it a more complex product. And then we're going to take that beer and we could just package that directly. But we could also take that, move it into wine barrels, and then package from the wine barrels and blend that with different wine barrels, or blend that back into the foeder that it originally came from with different beer. So it's just basically you're kind of working with a color palette, and you're using those to kind of produce more colors. So that's the kind of idea behind those. So one is that golden sour, the other is a saison, but with Brettanomyces. And then from there, we'll use those and we'll package them straight as is, but we'll also put them into different barrels. We'll also introduce them to different types of fruit and ingredients to produce different beers. So from that one, we're going to have a whole bunch of different beers that come from that. And then we're also doing a process called Solera. So we're going to pull some of the beer out of those, but not all of it. So we're going to leave some of that beer behind and introduce new beer. And what that's doing is the bacteria that's already in that beer is going to become stronger and stronger over time the more that we introduce of this. And it's going to kind of like deviate and mutate and kind of go off and be its its own thing that's unique and different to just
so you
what
can
we
keep
do.
bacteria after a brew.
Yeah,
And keep it alive.
It
then
can literally live
basically,
inside the
grow,
wood.
and then grow a culture of, you know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Like, so
And then is there
like,
going to be like a what's it called when you go and you can check your ethnicity? What's the
you have to, the little genetic test or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you can send it off to ancestry.com.
Yeah,
They'll tell you.
Ancestry.com for beer.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I see where this industry's going.
So, I mean, is there? I mean, there's so many questions, man. Is there a market for that, like for old like wood that has been cultured? Because I mean, you look at bacteria, and like I've seen those tests where they'll take a drop of antibacterial and they'll have like a culture of bacteria around it, and after like through time, it'll eventually be able to succumb, like it'll be able to overpower that. It mutates and it is no longer affected by whatever antibacterial that is, because the mutation process in bacteria is so fucking fast. I mean, granted, you're looking at like, time lapse over months, but like it does mutate like on a, pretty quickly. So is there a market in the beer industry of people that have had like these barrels, have kept these, like, I would imagine like there's breweries out there that have been open for years that have like
selling old barrels.
So I mean, like have had like, or is there a time limit on how long you can keep the bacteria alive and mutate it? Like, how is that market?
There's definitely a market. I mean, a lot of like yeast labs that provide just brewers yeast also provide these bacterias, these different yeasts. But breweries also, like, you can grab this from the air. So there are breweries around here that do, like, it's called spontaneous fermentation. So brewers yeast, this bacteria is naturally occurring around us right now. So we could literally make a beer right here in this basement. If we left it out long enough, something is going to inoculate that, take it over, and kind of produce a beer out of it.
So does Work Hard own some of the rights to this beer?
Yes. Well, no,
Well,
not really.
Inoculate it in a spot. You can't just inoculate in my crib and then just sell that shit.
You do as
And
ancestry.
that was your last 4 syllables, like inoculate. Okay, hold on, inoculate. Yeah, all right. I don't know, man. You keep introducing all these fucking words. I'm about to cancel this cat. I'm cutting it off at inoculate.
You do the ancestry, and it comes back to Work Hard.
Yeah,
and
you just be like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you did that here. We want parts.
Yeah.
So tell us, we're running. Tell us about these next two. I mean, so I don't know. Did we have Hole Punch? I think we've had Hole Punch before on the podcast, but we have not had this key. What is
Leo?
this? The key lime pie version of it.
Yeah.
And I have not had this. Is it agrio?
I like a grill.
Agrio?
Yeah.
Oh, agrio.
Yeah.
Is it with the R?
Yeah.
The
Grill, yeah. You got to satisfy that one family of Mexicans that live in South Oakland, so you call it a grill.
So, if you order if you order a whole nother animal, they will not give you a grill because you ain't roll your R. You know what I mean?
They still may.
Yeah.
Once they get hired, they just whatever with it.
You have to say a whole nother animal. So tell us about this and how this came to be while we open this and sip this.
So this is another kettle sour with that lactobacillus.
Ooh, it pours out kind of like strawberry-ish.
Yeah, it's got over 1,000 pounds of strawberry in there. For a 15 barrel batch of beer. So this is just basically meant to be like a margarita hybrid.
What does a gose?
So it's typically a kettle, or not a kettle sour, but a lactobacillus beer that has coriander and sea salt. So this beer has coriander and sea salt in it, but it also has lime zest, lime juice, and agave.
I don't even like lime, but I like this. This is like, I think I like lime when it's
Is
cut.
there lime in this?
Oh, yeah, there's
Yeah, zested limes for 4 hours.
Zested lime.
this.
Yeah.
Is fucking.
This is zesty.
It is zesty. This is definitely, you talking about a beer garden, you talking about being outside in the summertime and having some old, you know what I mean? Like, this is some dope, you know what I mean? You can bring your girl by. Again,
I want to take wifey to the Dominican and sit outside and drink this
telling
shit.
you ain't even got to go all the way to Dominican. You go down to
Topless.
Sharpsburg and just sit in the beer garden.
Nah,
and
I
have,
can't.
you know what I mean?
Listen, I'll do it in Sharpsburg because they're there, right?
Yeah.
But ideally, I want to be in
Oh,
Dominican.
well, yeah. If you take
Topless
this to
wifey.
Dominican, then they are going to be impressed. Yeah, I mean, like you could still.
I'm not telling them what I got. Motherfuckers will rob you if you tell them you got some shit that they ain't got.
Is you trying to go to the actual Dominican, or are you trying to go to like a resort?
I'm trying to be out in
There's
the
a
sun,
difference.
topless.
There's a difference
drinking a
between the
grill.
resort. If you at a resort, you all good. But if you wander off that resort, then that's a whole
I've
nother.
wandered off resorts before.
All right, well then, yeah, all right, I ain't trying to.
We almost got robbed at a casino in Mexico. It wasn't smart.
Yeah.
No, it was stupid what we did.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you come from the hood, it's just
Well,
I mean,
what happens is you go to these trips international. You got one dude who act like he know the land. He like, I know the lay of the land. I'm gonna rent a van and drive us around because I know where the fuck we going.
Yeah.
Nah, he don't. He never knows. Never do it. But if you can sit out in the sand with some agrio, topless with your lady, this is dope.
That is delicious. That's refreshing. It's like a little tartness in there or whatever. I mean, like, and you said that like the sea salt, like I could taste like I mean, like you ain't got to rim the glass for that. Like it just, I don't even like
margarita. Yeah,
I don't even like margaritas all like that, man. But this is.
I mean, back in my early 20s, you know, I was 22, 23, and Mad Max was doing this $7
Well, I mean,
margaritas.
if I can get a margarita for the cheap,
You get your one story. She had the nice internship, so she wear the kitten heels. You like, let me take you out. You know what I mean? You gotta do the
I'll be
margarita.
seen with a margarita. I mean. But it wasn't my drink of choice. I wouldn't be out like on a payday by myself or with the crew and order a margarita.
No, shout out to every dude in Mad Max next Saturday. Sipping margaritas. We know what you're trying to do, fam. We know where your head is at. We understand.
True, man. Like, but this is actually pretty. This is pretty, and this is a beer. And here, let's just be clear: there's no tequila in this motherfucker. This is just straight. This is a
pour
beer.
shots of tequila in this?
Oh yeah.
You could. Can you bomb this? Could this be a bomb?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Drop a little like Jose in that mensch. Like,
I might have to do that when we get home.
Hey, I like what you're thinking of. See, I like where your mind is. I like where your head is. How did you retain this color? Is it just because there's so many?
Yeah, just because there's so many strawberries. So like the last time that we did this, we brewed it and we just like it had close to the same amount of strawberry, but we just added a couple more pounds of it, and that kind of what is producing the character that you're seeing in the beer.
I ain't even like, not to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, but it even has like a little bit of a Kool-Aid quality in the most like respectful way that I could like say that.
What?
That man's gonna become like smashing through the wall right now.
Like, yeah, no, because I mean, I feel like
where you inoculated that motherfucker.
I feel like after a couple of these, I might smash through a motherfucking wall. Like,
Yeah, what's the ABV on this?
it's
4.4%.
Okay,
all right,
good.
yeah,
This
this is
is
sessionable.
Yeah, this is meant to be like a summer beer. Like you're out hanging out in the sun. You want
Yeah.
something that's not gonna fuck you up too much, but get you where you need to be. This is what it's meant for.
Oddly, I have a scenario when I taste this beer that popped to mind. I think I'm gonna start doing this, thinking of like exact scenarios. I feel like I'm going to get my hair cut and come home and cut the grass and then have an agrio. I don't know why, but it just has
That's
that
it.
feel.
You're fresh.
Just that
and you got a nice fresh
post-barbershop.
ass beer.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
Like I was a man and I was a man's man, and then I had a 4.4, and it was okay because I was supposed to be drinking water because I was dehydrated. But nope, I'm gonna give me a 4.4.
And it's gonna get you more fucked up because you already sweated.
Exactly.
Because you did some work. That's a reward for hard work.
There we go.
That is some good shit. So then now we gonna pour the whole punch and go through a little bit.
It's
of
gonna
that.
punch
See?
us in our face, and then we're gonna have to. I know you guys are on a time constraint.
Yeah,
and we can be here all day. We can do this all day.
Well, we are going to do this all day. So we're contracted we're
Now I gotta-
contractually obligated to do this all
I have
day.
a weird obligation after. I have to go play hide and seek with my daughter after this. And do you ever played hide and seek drunk?
I guess technically you're going to do that in the daytime because the sun is going to be out, but it'll be in like the evening.
We doing this in the house. I'm not gonna be outside playing hide and seek. First of all,
I'm playing hide and seek in the house.
I'm
like?
be tipsy and
Yeah, well, that's gonna be. You know what?
I'll never find it.
Shout out to beer. Shout out to beer. It makes parenting so much like.
she'll be so proud that I
my
can't find her.
Oh man, she'll know.
Like, Daddy's not playing with a full deck right now. Daddy went to work.
We're on the same level.
You had me fooled. Sitting behind the couch. I never thunk it. I never thought you'd be behind the couch 3 times in a row. Because you don't technically know what hide means. But it's okay.
You ever get where they come out and be like, here I am? Like,
no, you don't do that.
That's not, no. Like,
Y'all, she's in the stage where when we play, she hides in one spot. She just does it every time. All right, so this is the whole punch.
Yes.
All right, now I thought this has the line.
Pause.
You don't pause whole punch.
Man, pause.
So this is key lime pie. So it's a series that we do. It's beer that always has milk sugar in it. It always has vanilla bean in it, and then it usually has some sort of fruit. We do like a pie series like this beer where we put graham crackers in it.
Like a milkshake, yeah?
Yeah, it's meant it's a milkshake style IPA started by a brewery out in Philly. We've been doing it for quite some time now. It's definitely our most popular series of beer.
Really?
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
I'm surprised,
I would have thought the Bane would
I was
have
about
been.
to say the Bane.
Yeah, Bane is definitely like the top selling beer overall. But anytime we do a batch of these, people seem to go crazy.
Because this is not the same each time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the dope boys go crazy about this. Like, when y'all drop that, motherfuckers be there. Like,
They outside of Sharpsburg ready.
yeah.
Mount Lebo ready.
Yeah,
No,
so
this. You said this has graham crackers in it?
yeah, graham crackers.
Graham crackers? What?
Yeah, so like it's meant to be like key lime pie. So normally key lime pie is like that
I don't
lime
think I've ever
custard
had
with
key lime pie.
with a graham cracker crust. So that's where the graham crackers kind of come into this one.
Ooh, a little bit of like a cinnamony kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, like, ooh, that
How the
is.
fuck you do this?
That's what, like, yeah, how did you do all of the, like, we've had Cocachino, we've had the whole bunch of different animal, we've had the Agrio, you know what I mean, the Bane, like, this is a flavor, like, ride. And then it was funny because I was like, yo, let me bring this cooler over here next to y'all so y'all can take us on this flavor adventure, because, I mean, these are all wildly different styles, like, and they're styles that, like, you're not going to find in another brewery. Like,
You got a whole different hole punch.
That's
Oh, the
an old
blueberry.
one.
And now
Yeah.
they showing off.
That's a throwback right there.
Now they just showing
that's
off. Because we tired. People come here stunting on us.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think
they opened up 2 crowlers of Bane. I was like, at the beginning of the episode, I was like, where did we start? How did
stunting
we?
us up.
Yeah, y'all know this is the first one. Like, this.
I just paid him the best compliment ever. Like, how often do you get how the fuck you
We
do
need
that?
Buzzy to come in
Is that the ultimate compliment in beer? Like,
Yeah,
help us
absolutely.
like, how often do people come up to the bar like, yo, how the fuck you do that? Like, that's a 10 out of 10 right there. If somebody
Yeah.
say that, like, how the fuck you do that?
Yeah.
No, this is crazy. Like,
I don't. And again, this is the second. I don't like lime, but I think I like lime cut. I don't like, you know what I mean, like a just straight lime. I love lemons. I love sour or whatever. But something about a lime, I just particularly like. But if it's
I don't
cut,
understand it. I
yeah,
don't know
but if
what
it's
it
cut,
is.
it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've done my limes in the Coronas, you know.
I only did that because somebody said I was supposed to.
That's what it makes it better. It gives a little bit of that zest, a little fruitiness or whatever. I mean, like, but like, I don't particularly like lime candy, lime cool, like lime flavoring is not a thing that I really like.
Yeah, lime as candy doesn't make sense.
Nah,
I
like,
think you got to do watermelon, blueberry, strawberry. Like, even banana as candy is just
I
like,
don't like
why
banana.
would you do
Yeah,
a banana
flavor
candy?
is fucking terrible.
Stupid
Banana and lime
shit.
flavoring is like, oh, like.
Sorry, we going to tangents.
But this is like your iteration of these limes are fucking delicious. Like, I mean,
your
that is-
take on lime.
Yeah,
That's just more zesting, just
Your
like a gyro.
interpretation.
your limelight is shining out here.
Swag.
Man.
Way to swag on. Nah, this is god damn it, this is really good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I haven't even gotten. I was just tasting the graham cracker on the first sip. I got to get into this one.
Nah, man, this was like a finish him. Like, they knew it was going to the end of the cash. And it's just like, all right, we're gonna finish
It's like
him.
it is like
What is that? What is that?
What? Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, y'all put y'all finishing move on us, and it's okay.
yeah. It's like a pie, man. That's
They were very
crazy.
strategic in how they did this whole.
Exactly. That's why I said, look, man,
Four,
bring
four,
this
back,
cooler.
back, A.
Bring this cooler over
Cannon's
here so
finishing
they
move.
could, yeah, I mean, like I want the brewers to give us the tour because we'll just randomly just run in.
They tuck that blueberry can, and we're gonna have them tell the people where they can find Hitchhiker.
I'm taking it out.
Tuck it, Dave. Don't let them see you. Nah, but where can they find you guys?
So the website is hitchhiker.beer. .beer. That'll take you to our website that has a tap list, what we got going on in terms of events, everything you need to know. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Hitchhiker Brew on Twitter, Hitchhiker Brewing on Instagram, maybe. I don't know, just search Hitchhiker on the internet. It's going to find
Googleable,
you.
Man.
I don't know. There
take
might
you
be
where
a
you need to
weird
go.
story about a murder if you just search Hitchhiker. Like.
Yeah, not Hitchhiker Brewing.
Yeah, Brewing.
That'll put you in the right direction. Hitchhiker might take you down a weird path I don't know about.
I do want to talk before we go. I know we had a little bit over time or whatever, but like, tell us about the collaboration that you guys are doing and whatnot. Like, so we get Boom Concepts and Genesis for Fresh Fest, which is I'm super excited because I didn't even know you knew Thomas Genesis and all them. You know what I mean, like, because I mean, I don't know if the listeners. This is the third. This is the third episode they've been on. I don't know if you know or not, but like, if I could do it, but Andy is a rapper and
I wouldn't. No,
he's pretty.
No,
good.
Alex didn't Alex bring that out about him? Was it Alex that brought
Man,
that
he
out
was
about
down.
him?
He was down here. I think it was after the 100th episode. Like,
no, it was
freestyling.
after his benefit.
Oh, the benefit, yeah, it was right after the benefit
I was
down
way
there freestyling.
too drunk.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
because
too drunk.
When I died, I brought a lot of shit out of people.
Yeah. Shout out to Dose Now. Yeah, I mean, like they used to run in the same sort of like, yeah, I mean, with the battle rap and the like freestyle and whatever. Like, so, you know, having you as a brewer and that's crazy. You were in that life as a rapper or whatever. Now you're a brewer and then bringing it back over to that hip hop, like with Genesis and Boom Concepts. I'm super excited for that collaboration. You know what I mean, like,
yeah, we haven't linked up to iron out the details yet, but that's probably something that's going to be happening this week.
Yeah.
And we're not sure, figure out what he wants to do and what he's interested in, and we'll do whatever he wants, pretty much.
That's what's so, because like I've been talking to like the brewers and whatnot, and like getting feedback, and people have been asking me like, so what should we be doing? And I'm like, look, this is a collaboration like between two entities. This isn't us in any way, shape, or form. I'm just super excited to see folks come together and have that conversation, the same that we've had that conversation, and then come up with whatever it is that happens. So, I mean,
yeah, your collaboration is particularly exciting because we know you can bring out the flavor. Like this blueberry again.
Whatever you
How the
want.
fuck do you do this? Like, god damn. Like, I don't understand.
Was that a blueberry? Is that the
this
blueberry?
The blueberry. Yeah, I don't understand.
Blueberry
I just don't understand. Like, how does it feel to be the smartest dude in the room? Because we technically have to give that. You used the most words. You made the most out of the
and
beer.
use the words while drinking. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like, because I will use some words, but about like 2 beers in, they all go to shit.
I got a new nickname for Andy. He's the ice cream man of beer because he used to rap, so he's got 31 flavors. Boom, you got that. Whole lot. Before you jump in the game. They tell the people where they can find us so we can let these gentlemen get on this.
Yeah,
I'm about to listen to that in the car on the way home.
That's good. Yo, I'm going to, man.
I have to now. It's mandatory. It's the thing that has to happen. Dave, let us know where they can find us.
Yeah, yo, we are the Drinking Partners. If you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play.
We Googleable.
Under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. You can find us July 21st at arcadecomedytheater.com. Headliners, Razor Wadney. You can find us at Compton Theater, July 28th at ComptonTheater.Ticketly. And 27th. 2-year anniversary, man. 2 years, 2 nights, man. July 27th to 28th, man. You can catch us at ComptonTheater.Ticketleap.com. And you can catch us at Fresh Fest August 11th. Hitchhiker will be in the building with a collaboration with Boom Concepts and Genesis Magazine, man. Come check that out. And if you're looking for tickets,
They're going to make a Khalifa Kush.
Khalifa Kush, that would be, hey, you can catch that. You can catch us August 11th down at Threadbare Cider House and Wiggle Barrel Room August 11th. And tickets are at FreshFestBeerFest.com.
Hey man, we want to thank Gary and Andy coming here from Hitchhiker,
yeah.
man. It's been pretty cool, man. Like people have listened to us, they've watched us grow up, but we watched y'all glow up. Like in the whole, like we watched y'all, man. It's crazy.
This is the 4th episode, and this is our 4th year. You know what I mean, like doing this.
We gotta stay attached to.
This is annual. It's an annual cast at this point.
You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most often, and we want to hang out with y'all, motherfuckers. Because y'all is doing it, man. Shout out to what y'all doing. Shout out to what y'all creating. Shout out to this Hole Punch series. specifically, just because, god damn, how the fuck do you do that?
Dude, same on the other side of the table. Fresh Fest is something that's long overdue in this community to kind of change the narrative of the path that we're headed on, and I'm super stoked that we're a part of this, and you know, it's a great thing, and I can't wait for this year, and I can't wait for the following years.
Yeah, well, thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it was a concept that we were like, I don't know how people are going to take it, and you know, we're unable to do this without the support of the beer community, which is just a testament,
desperately needed. So
which is just
great.
a testament to, you know, the environment that we're in and the industry that, like, I mean, we've been lucky to be a part of.
Yeah, man. So as always, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family, and we out of here. For real, this blueberry shit.
Yeah,
I almost forgot. I haven't tasted it in a while. That's the thing. It's been a while since I had it, and I just you ever go back, you seen that girl you ain't seen in a while, and you just get to kick it with her.
I don't have that.
You had a second one.
I put that like right here. I was like,
Well, you need to.
that was my like,
Okay,
that was my no.